Well, Dee Wallace captured my heart along with millions of others. E.T., I think, was the first time that I really said, wow, who's this? And I followed her career ever since. I'm glad to finally have the chance to chat with her. I've been in touch with her over a couple of years, and now it just seemed to fall into place. And it's like many of my favorite movies include Dee, and she's a big reason why they are favorites. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a book that she's written that's coming out. You can pre-order it now. Thank you, Dee, for making time with me. Thank you.
Well, you bet, sweetheart. I'm glad to be here.
Well, you know, it's like every time I've seen you in a movie or a television show, I immediately smile. Do you get that a lot? Do people tell you just bring smiles to people's faces?
I do get that a lot. Even in all my horror films, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like, you know, we're connected.
Yeah, you are definitely connected to your audience and your fans. What's funny is I when I saw Lords of Salem, I'm like, oh, great, Dee Wallace is in it. I can't wait. And that character, of course, I did there's Dee Wallace smile that I always do when I see you on the screen. And then as your it's one of the most diabolical characters I think that have ever been in film. It's so gleefully played by you.
Yeah, I had a really good time, and you know it's magical working with Rob. He knows exactly what he wants and gives you great direction, but then he allows you to play.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah,
and you know that's the formula. When you put all that together, that's when the magic happens.
Yes.
You know. Have you seen 3 from Hell?
Yes, I did. Another one. You know, Rob's films are so unique, and I sometimes have to watch them more than once, like in a row. You know, like Lords of Salem, when I first watched it, I was like, wow, what is this all about? But then you watch it again and you see that it's kind of an homage to the drive-in movies that we saw in the 70s and these films that were trying to be artsy, but they were too decadent to really capture that crowd, and they kind of just had this aesthetic that was really inspired, and he really captures that. And the the claustrophobic sets. Yeah.
He's truly a master genius, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's definitely unique. And now he's got the Munsters coming out. We're going to talk about some of the films that you've done with him and also other directors. There's so much to get to. So first of all, you'll be making this appearance soon. And I want to talk about the Day of the Dead. And I got to tell you, I'm a little pissed off because I was trying to research and they don't have you, and a couple other people that are going to be there, they don't have you on the website. That's kind of an oversight.
I know. What am I, chopped liver?
I know. What is that all about?
You know, I don't know. But it makes an actor feel very disrespected.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I love Billy and I do a lot of his shows. But, you know, that's just not okay because your fans can't make a plan to come see you if they don't know you're going to be there.
Right. Yeah. How would they know? Yeah. And there's plenty of people.
I don't know what the hiccup is.
You know, it's weird. Danny Pintoro is going to be there from Cujo.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of you holding him on their website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It must be an oversight, but it's a bad oversight. And I would sure like him to rectify that in the next couple of days.
Well, I will definitely send him communication. But you'll be there. The Richard Dreyfuss is going to be there. Christy Swanson, Lou Gossett Jr., Billy Zane, one of my favorite actors and one of my favorite actresses.
I will be there.
Yeah, Kathleen Turner, and of course Dee Wallace, Alice Cooper. Have you ever run into Alice Cooper before?
I have. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy. You know, all these guys with these weird personas are really kind of babies at heart.
Right.
And, you know, when I was doing Halloween, we were between shots, and I said to Rob, so what's your favorite movie this year? He said, Little Miss Sunshine. I said, oh, my God, Rob, don't tell anybody. It will totally ruin your your cachet there.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you're so well known as a genre actress, but also as just this versatile actress. And I want to get into that because can I start at your roots? I just want to get a quick overview of what your childhood was like and how you became an actress.
Well, how I became an actress, my quickest answer to that was I was born.
Yeah, right. Born an actress.
I think you just come in with those tendencies toward that creative life. I wanted to be a dancer, and I was a professional ballet dancer with a couple of companies, but I was never, I was going to always be a big fish in a little pond. Mm-hmm. And so I turned my sights to the next thing, and I had all my life really acted. And I remember my mother was a beautiful actress in local theater and in our church. And I remember sitting in church one Sunday when she did this half an hour reading about the crucifixion, and all these grown men and women were sobbing, and I thought, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to move people like this.
Yeah.
Anything I do, it's just got to be creative. If I'm creating something, I'm happy.
Yes. Yeah. That's what this program is about, is how to sustain and nurture a creative life. And so I try to have interesting conversations with amazing people every week. And, one of the things that I've noticed about your career is you've worked steady. We're talking from the 1970s, whether it's television or film, your career's never really lulled. And I want to ask you, how do you balance that, keeping a career going? And obviously it's your talent and that people like working with you. That's got to be a large part of it. But what are some other secrets you can give aspiring actors or creative people in general to keep that motor going and to keep busy?
Well, I think oftentimes with creative people, it is business. I mean, if you're going to keep working, it's a business. And a lot of times for creative people, the business side isn't so much fun, or the side can be hurtful. And then you start losing a little bit of your joy and passion around what you're doing because you forget that you do the business and then you get to do the creative. And I think a lot of times it seeps over. And I know from literally teaching thousands and thousands of people the creative process that if whatever you want, you've got to love it. Yes. You have to love, and then the universe goes, oh, let's go in there and play.
Okay, right? Yeah.
If you want money, you got to love money. If you want a healthy body, you've got to love your body. But we're taught to judge. We are taught to judge everything. And we're taught to say what we want by saying what we don't want. I can, when I go out and speak, call somebody up and say, what do you want? I don't want to worry about money anymore. Okay, what do you want? Well, I don't want to be so frustrated about money. This will go on for 20 minutes.
Right.
Till finally they get so pissed off at me, they go, I want more money. And I go, great. Now, this is the first time you've told me what you want.
What you want, yes. Because we focus more on the obstacles than the actual work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's golden advice. And I've often told people, I teach music, and I tell these kids, if you're not in love with the work, and that's sitting down and playing your drums, or if you're an actor, if you're not in love with analyzing the script and going to rehearsal, and you're not in love with the audition process, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. Because like you said, the universe will wink at you and say, oh, I see what's going on here, if indeed you're doing the work, Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, we're getting heady right off the bat here, Dee. This is wonderful.
I am a big believer in naivete.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
When I had never been out of Kansas when I left to New York. And, everybody was, oh, my God, New York. Oh, my God, it's so scary. Oh, my God, how do you think you're ever going to, there's so many people, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And that little naive Kansas girl in me went, yeah, well, I'm going to go to New York and be a movie star. And,
yeah.
I just had that naive trust and met a guy who took me at an audition, who took me to a Halloween party. And at the end of the party, his friends came over and said, we think we'd like you to come by the office on Monday. We think we might want to represent you. And I went, well, what do you do? Well, they were the biggest commercial agents at that in New York. Now, I couldn't have planned that.
Right.
Right. But I was in alignment with it because I trusted and I loved what I was doing. And I just kind of knew it was going to happen. And then the universe goes, all right, well, we'll lay out the breadcrumbs for you.
Yeah. Well, you know what's...
And the universe will do it better than... It will do it so much better than you ever could do it for yourself.
Right. And, you talk about naivete and being a virtue, because I think what happens when you're just kind of going for it, you're not paying attention to everything that will suck the life out of you because you're just naive. I'm just like, okay, let's give this a try. That's amazing. Amazing advice.
Yeah, and you're not focused on the fear, and you're not focused on the what ifs and the limitations. You're just focused on, oh my God, I'm in New York City. I left Kansas by myself and I'm in New York City. Yeah. And I'm telling you, the minute I landed, I felt like I felt like I had always meant to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
And hey, I'll tell you a Hollywood story. Oh my God. Want to hear about creation?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm teaching high school in Kansas. And in the library, we get the New York Times. And in the New York Times, there's an article from Hal Prince about a little night music. And he's looking for an unknown to star in a little night music. So I went home, I wrote this cheesy letter to Hal Prince about, oh, just think, Mr. Prince, to star an unknown right from Kansas. And I had my brother's friend who took pictures for the high school newspaper come over and take the cheesiest shot of me laying on the bed. Oh, my God, so embarrassing. And I sent it off to Hal Prince. Well, 3 weeks later, I get a call from his secretary. Mr. Prince got your picture and your letter, and he would like to fly you to New York to audition.
Wow.
Now, here is how I was raised, okay? I said, oh, my gosh, that's wonderful. What day does Mr. Prince want me there? And they gave me the date, and I said, oh, that's awesome. What time? Well, he didn't need me till 5 o'clock. Well, I already had a coach ticket to go to New York on that day. He would have flown me first class and put me up and everything. So I said, oh, well, I don't want him to have to pay for the ticket because I've already got one. So the day I landed in New York, I took everything I owned, took it to a cab driver, gave him the address and said, could you drop this off at this address, please? And they all got there, by the way. And I went down to Rockefeller Center and auditioned for Hal Prince. And I got down to the last 5 girls. And then his assistant said, well, Mr. Prince would like you to sing. And I went, oh, I didn't know sing. And she, well, dear, it is a musical.
Right. It's Sondheim. Right. Had
so
you ever...
Stay in New York, I sang Happy Birthday for Hal Prince. I didn't get it, but I got down to the last 5 girls, baby.
How great is that? And so were you familiar with Stephen Sondheim or you're just like,
oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That's so great. That is so good. So you're just like, happy birthday. Here you go. Here's my audition piece.
Mr. Prince said, that's okay, honey. Just sing Happy Birthday. And the company says, what key, honey? And I went, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. The key of the middle. I love it.
Oh, my God.
And some of your early television roles, it's funny when I go back, you've been on so many television shows. Lucas Tanner, Ellery Queen, Streets of San Francisco, Starsky and Hutch. And so you were just making a living right off the bat in this, or were there some odd jobs that you had to keep?
Oh, hell yes. The first 2 years in New York, the first 4 months, I was a receptionist for a guy who I'm sure now that I look back on it was doing something very shady, but I didn't. All I knew is he let me come in when I could. He paid me in cash. I was happy, and I was getting by, right?
Yeah.
And, I waited a few tables, but I literally had $4 and some cents left. And I called my older brother and asked him if I could borrow $1,000 because I said, Denny, I know I'm going to make it. I just know it. And he said, okay, Pee-wee, we'll send you $1,000. Well, that's the night that I went to the party that I met the agents.
Wow.
A week later, they sent me on a United Airlines commercial. I was the friendship girl, and I ended up making $20,000 in the next 4 months.
That's something else, isn't it? Unbelievable.
Well, that's more, than my parents saw in a year. So we come from a very poor childhood.
Well, just talking to you, I mean, I could tell that just your optimism and your lust for life and your open heart, you've had to have pulled a lot of your cohorts out of the doldrums over the years in Hollywood.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. If through my friendship and my love, if somebody says, what do you want to be remembered for? I won't say E.T. or my career or probably even my healing work. I will say just that Dee Wallace was love.
And she was a loving person. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, I do want
to... I know how powerful love is. And love will create anything for you.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well, just listening to you speak, you can tell that you've got something in you that screams author. And I do want to talk about your book. I know this is because we're going to get back into movies. I want to ask you about some of my faves. But now the book is called Born, and reading up on it. Now, this is available for pre-order. IamDeeWallace.com. It's coming out next month. It seems like a big idea, but accessible to anyone. Am I about accurate in that?
You are right on. Let me tell you, creation and manifestation is easy. It's a formula. It's a formula that applies to anything you want to create.
Right.
Anything. And once you know how to do it, it's easily accessible to everybody. And that's why I wrote Born. I've been doing this healing work. I'm a clairaudient channel, and I've been doing this healing work for over 30 years. A lot of people don't know about my healing work, but I've been doing it for over 30 years and helped thousands of people all across the globe. I have clients all across the world. And, and it was during the pandemic, by the way. And my channel said, just get up every day and say, what can I create today? Don't look at all the parameters and the fears that everybody's given you and the studio's closing down. Your consciousness is your money, Dee. So just get up and say, what do I get to create today? And one day when I asked that, it said, write a book.
Yeah.
And I went, because I already have 5 books, and I went, I know the book, as soon as that came in, I knew the book I wanted to write. I wanted to write a book like a primer.
Yeah.
For everybody, no matter if they knew anything about healing or energy or manifestation, that they could sit down and read this book, have fun reading the book, that it was simple and to the point, and by the time they finished, if they applied everything in this book, they would manifest everything they wanted in their life.
Mm. And I
did it. And it's brilliant. You can pre-order it now on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. It'll be in the stores in December. It's called Born: Giving Birth to a New You.
I'm so looking forward to reading it. Like you said, the type of channeling you do. Can you explain that and what it's called again?
Yeah, I'm a clairaudient channel, which means I hear.
Okay.
Some people like, if you've ever watched John Edwards,
yeah,
his channel gives him pictures, right? Like he'll see 2 roses and he knows what that represents through his channel. But anybody can channel, guys, and kids do it all the time. Young kids do it all the time until we tell them they can't.
Right.
Right. So that's what imaginary friends are.
Yeah, I find that at 54, I have these moments of, and I don't know if it's clarity, or I have these moments of realization more and more lately that aren't familiar to me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like I'll get a glimpse into a certain situation differently than I've ever imagined getting it.
Yes. And here's a simple way most of us challenge. We go, I haven't heard from somebody. I really should call them.
Yes.
That's channeling. So what it is you're just open to receiving all the information that's hanging out right above our heads, that's open to anybody.
Mm.
But you got to ask.
You got to ask.
Like it says, ask and it's given. But what most people don't understand is ask in the original Hebrew is claim or demand. This will be delivered to me.
Mm.
And you get out of the way and let the information come in.
Yeah.
That's how I act,
yeah.
Michael.
Yeah. I gotcha. And, the book, the description, directing energy, because you think about how much energy we don't direct properly or let it go to waste, knowing neutrality, self-actualization, and knowing you are the power. It took you how long to write this book?
It took me to write this particular book about 4 weeks.
Or is it just poured out of you?
Well, I just turn it over to the channel.
Yeah, okay. All right.
If I would hit a wall, I would get out of the way and I would ask, all right, where am I supposed to go now? And they would direct me to these channel sheets that I work with, or a song or a movie, something that would open up the communication, right, from the universe.
Yeah.
That's really who you're talking to. You're talking to the universe, which is holding all the information. Look, this is the way it works. The universe is a big electromagnetic hole. You learned that in 5th grade, okay? We are electrical beings. That's why they measure your heart through an electrocardiogram and your brain through an electroencephalogram. When we have feelings and thoughts, they have electrical impulses connected to them. We're sending them out like a radio signal. Remember the old radios that you had to line up the line?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing every day with the universe. If you're lined up with the universe and what you want, then the universe gets a signal. You plug into the motherboard, and it gets returned to you.
And it removes the static from your frequency. I gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm going to steal that.
Oh, go ahead. Just give me give me kudos. Hey, so this is so interesting. I could spend all day with you, but so it seems like a Zen-like approach in some manners, that you're quieting your mind by opening your mind. And I have to ask you, when you say
you could also call it brain science.
Brain science. Now, there's something when you say you open yourself up and you ask for the answer or the direction, it has to be a discipline of some sort, because when I do that, I find myself questioning whether I'm receiving my own. Am I getting my own desires, or am I actually getting?
Yeah, but that means you're going to your monkey mind.
Okay.
If you really want to hear your highest direction, you always go to your heart, Michael.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Your heart will always, and if you do any studies from the Heart Math Institute and all the leading scientists, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, they all will tell you the heart has a brain and the brain has a heart, and they are in constant communication with each other. We've just gotten it, as my mother would love to say, bass-ackwards.
Bass-ackwards, right. It's hard to
go to our minds.
Yeah.
To tell our hearts.
Right.
But that's the wrong way. You want to go to your heart. Your heart will always guide you to your highest answer. And then you use that answer to tell your mind how to direct your brain to create it.
How cool is this? Born by Dee Wallace. It's going to be available all over next month, but you can pre-order it now at Amazon. You can go to Barnes & Nobles, or you can go to the awesome website, imdwallace.com. I can't wait to read your book. And boy, you're one of those guests that I feel like I've known forever, and I really appreciate you taking time. I want to run through some of the directors you've worked with. I just want to get your initial impression, okay? Because okay, so when I saw The Howling, being a big horror film fan, it blew my mind. Remains one of my all-time favorites, and Joe Dante must have been a wonderful director, and that film is the perfect balance. It strikes the perfect balance between suspense and terror, with black humor and levity and little winks, homages to prior films. Huh?
That was all Joe. Do you know that he paid for all those film clips himself?
To include them in the film, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, which raises the quality of the film considerably.
Yeah.
The studio wouldn't ante up, so he paid for them himself.
Yeah, he seems like a real maverick. And, the grisly makeup effects of the werewolves by Rob Bottin are legendary. Yet the film ends on this great note where your character, Karen White, she's giving her life. She's going to tell the world of the secret of the werewolves. And then she turns into this cuddly werewolf. That was a great note to end the film on.
Well, I wasn't supposed to be seen as a werewolf. I had that in my contract. Why the frick I thought that was important back then. So Joe calls me. I'm shooting Cujo, and Joe calls me. He says, everybody that's seen the picture wants to see you as a werewolf. I said, I don't care, Joe. Fine. Just can you make her a little more vulnerable? Because she's fought against it so hard. So they came up with this Bambi werewolf. All animatronic. I'm not even underneath it. But again, that's Joe's amazing sense of humor.
Yeah. One of the greats. One of the underrated. He's just so. What led you being so perfectly cast with in E.T. with Steven Spielberg, and what was it like working with him?
Well, that's like what's it working with a genius.
Yeah, with Mozart, right? I got you.
Yeah, I mean, he knows exactly what he wants. He surrounds himself with the best people. And I might say, trying not to blow my own horn, but he is a master at casting. He is able to see the quality of the actor and match it with the highest rendition of the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, again, and this goes for every major director and a lot of the really good up-and-coming directors that I've worked with. Every good director knows exactly what they want, and they know to give you the freedom to bring in your ideas or your intuitions. You know, that's when the magic happens. And that goes for the cinematographer, that goes for the editor.
Right.
The you know, music, everything.
Yeah, it seems like that's a great point. When you know so well what you want, you know that the right people are in place to give you even more of what you need. Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
What was it? Now you were in The Frighteners, which is that's an underrated film, early Peter Jackson film.
Yeah. Underrated. That's a good word for it.
He had to be another genius to work with.
Oh my God, I adore Peter.
Yeah.
Peter was, you know, he was like a hobbit. He was.
He's mythological. Yeah.
He was short and round, and it was wintertime in New Zealand, and he would come to the set in shorts, a down jacket, and flip-flops.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. But I'll tell you who Peter Jackson is. My husband died during the shooting of that. First, he had a heart attack. They flew me back. He was fine. I flew back. 4 days later, he died. I flew back, put on his party, grabbed my kid and my nanny, and flew back to finish the film. So 4 times across the world in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, don't worry, Dee, we'll settle up at the end of the movie. So I went in to settle up with him and pay them for it, and they said, no, Peter just wants to gift this to you. He's taking care of all the flights. And that's who Peter Jackson is.
Yeah. And so you keep in touch with Peter?
Via email every once in a while.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast life goes and how our paths.
God, believe it's November already?
Yes. Crazy.
God.
Yeah.
We thought we were all so bored with the pandemic. Where the hell did the year go?
Where did it go? Right? And, you know, you're talking about working with newcomers. You worked with Ty West when he was relatively new at the game with the House of the Devil. And what was that like?
Oh, Ty was great.
Yeah.
He was great. But he would ask me to do it again, and I'd go, okay, why? And he'd go, well, I don't know, just do it again. I said, no, can't just do it again. I need to know why. What am I adjusting?
Right.
And so I think we both learned from each other.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Just worked with another new director on a film that I think is going to be pretty awesome, called Homestead. And he came up to me at the end and he said, boy, did I learn a lot. And I was on the set only 3 days. He said, I sure learned a lot from you, Dee. And I went, well, I don't know what you possibly could have learned.
I think it's, you know, just stuff like that. You telling them, you know, well, tell me what you want. Instead of just taking another take, let me give you something different or enhanced or in a different way. And now I guarantee Ty West, every time he asks an actor to do it again, he tells them why. See, that's you made your point.
Or at least he takes the time to ask himself.
Yeah, right.
You know, because look, so many times I'll never forget being on the set with Blake Edwards, one of my favorite actors of all time. And we had to come back. Something happened to the film, and we had to come back 3 months later and pick up part of the scene in the bedroom and take me into the bathroom. And so they had gone to quite a bit of expense building this set and getting us back all together again. And we did one take, and Blake said, "Great, we got it. That's a wrap." And I hear all these people running across the sound stage, and they're going, "Blake, God, no, you've got to get at least one more." And Blake looked at them and said, "I looked at it. I saw it. I got what I wanted. We're moving on."
We're moving on. He had a vision, yeah.
Well, he knew and he trusted himself, see?
Yeah.
But these days, especially, it's like, "Oh, that was great. All right, let's do it again."
Right.
And I look at them and I go, "Okay, it was great. Why are we doing it again?"
Yeah.
Well, just to be safe.
I mean, you were in 2 films that absolutely changed the Hollywood. 10, which lifted a lot of taboos and made people very, very comfortable with seeing stuff on screen, and the subject, and working with Dudley Moore and Bo Derek. That was her first thing. And Julie Andrews, who shocked the world in that. And then E.T. comes along, and E.T. changes the science fiction genre. I mean, it's just listen. I've already gone over my allotted time with you, and I could spend all day with you because you're such a lovely person. I do want to tell people this book, Born, seems like it's something we were all born to read, especially people who are maybe looking for a little clarity in some aspects of their life. So I want them to pre-order that.
Bunch of clarity, dude.
Yeah.
But it's simple, guys.
Yeah.
It's simple. You can understand it. And I guarantee you, if you apply it, your life will change.
Excellent.
I guarantee you.
Well, Dee, it's been a long time. I've been contacting you, and thank you so much. You're one of my favorite people. And
I don't know why I took so long in doing this. This was so much fun.
The Mike Tomano Happening.